Greetings everyone, welcome to this lecture on prescription handling during compounding. I'm sure by now you've come across principles guiding how you handle a prescription, and most of the things that have been given to guide you, they are similar here, except here you are producing a product, so there are a number of principles that needs to be reminded of you so that you pay attention and assure safety of the patient and legal compliance to the requirements of compounding. So in the introduction, it's just to guide you that prescription handling is very important process in our pursuit to practice pharmacy. And so you realize the objective really of this process is to ensure that the product that we are producing is safe for the patient and is going to endeavor to produce the effect that we intend to produce. That is effectiveness or efficacy. And obviously then our practice, you have to remember, is guided by legal provisions. So we have to ensure that the process is legally compliant as we perform this compounding process. So therefore, this lecture is meant to give a step-by-step procedural guide in how we handle prescriptions during compounding. And so the first step quickly is a legal validity check. We want to check if the prescription is valid legally. And so what is it that we are going to check for? Is the patient's name and address. That's very important. Sometimes the prescribers will be very busy, especially because in our settings, prescribers will be dealing with huge queues, long queues, and huge numbers of people. So they may miss such important details. It is illegal to dispense a prescription that has no bearing of the patient's name, even their address. The age is also very important because, you know, age is one of the factors that affect responsiveness or response to medication. So it is important that age is included because it can inform the decisions you make as you validate the doses. But also for the patient who is younger than 12, it is legal provision that the actual date of birth is given. The prescriber's signature and name is very important. That is a legal provision, the date of the prescription. So you may find that you are dispensing a prescription that is for 3 years ago, or 2 months ago, or 1 month ago. Then the question is, where was the patient? Is the patient still in the same condition? So we begin to ask a lot of questions. And so it is important that we pay attention to the dates. The next step is interpretation of the instructions. So the prescription is considered as an instruction, also as a suggestion of what needs to be given to the patient in terms of medicines. So we have to ensure that we confirm what the prescriber is indicating on the prescription in terms of what they have suggested. Is it something that is in official documents that we use for compounding, like pharmacopoeia or the pharmaceutical codex? If it is not there, then it means it's an official product. And so in the labeling, then there are implications. If it's official, we are just going to state, for example, if it's Cyoden BP or is it European Pharmacopoeia, we just state that. But if it's unofficial, then we have to indicate all the ingredients and everything else that comes with that. So it is very, very important we determine whether what is being requested for is official or unofficial. The ingredients, it's important we check if these ingredients are actually within the safe limits in terms of the suggested dosages. And also these ingredients, we have to watch for interactions, pharmaceutical interactions that may result from incompatibilities. So this is very, very important. The next step is labeling and documentation. And by now, you should have already learned that we do not prepare a label after we have compounded. We prepare a label in advance. And then we also need to copy the formulae of what we are going to produce. We copy it on our record sheet for the extemporaneous preparation work that we are going to do. Because recording is very, very important, and this has to be kept in the pharmacy for a minimum of 2 years. This is crucial also for purposes of pharmacovigilance, and we have to do that. The next step is to ensure that after we have interpreted, we calculate the dosage. When we have calculated the dosage, then we also need to be able to determine what equipment are we going to need for this extemporaneous preparation work. So we select the appropriate equipment for the preparation, and we choose a suitable container that we are going to use for the product. So you don't start looking for the container after compounding. So you prepare everything in advance. Okay? So we prepare the equipment, we prepare the container, we have prepared the label. The next step is that we need to know how we are going to be handling the ingredients, because these are shelved, and how are we going to draw them from the shelves? There are steps that we have to follow to ensure safety and reduction or avoidance or prevention of medication errors. So selecting or dispensing errors. Select the first ingredient to be measured. So you go step by step. So you select what needs to be measured first and weighed. And also you record for each of the ingredients, you record the batch number, because if there is, for example, a reaction to the product, or there's an adverse effect, or whatever it is, a product problem, it has to be traced to the batch so that we try and check, is it a batch problem, or it's a preparation problem, or it's a patient problem? And so that is very, very important. Then we have to triple check every time we are dealing with ingredients. At what stages are we going to do these 3 checks? The first check is that when we are selecting from the stock, from the shelf, we have to check. We also have to ensure that is the correct thing we are picking when we are weighing. Again, we check the bottle. Also, when returning that bottle where we are collecting or picking the ingredient, when returning, again, we have to check. So we have to check 3 times for the ingredients: when we are picking from the shelf, when we are weighing, and when we are returning. That is very, very important. Special precautions in measurements is to ensure that if it's fluids we are dealing with, we keep the label away from the weighing station, or we keep it in the palm, so that should there be any spillage, we will not have staining of the label. If we are dealing with weighing class 2 weighing balance, we have to ensure that we place the white paper there for clarity of what we are going to read under the scale pan. And also we keep the drawer closed to prevent powder contamination, and also we ensure that whatever spatula we are using, we keep cleaning them, because that will ensure we are getting accuracy and precision within our measurements. Then we clean the scale pan between uses and ensure we remove the weights after we have finished our weighing procedure. The final step is the dispensing part. We have made the product, so we transfer the preparation to the final container, which we prepared in advance. Apply the label clearly. Now the label, we have to apply the label on the container about 3/4 down below the top. This ensures that We can see the ingredients in there, but the label is sufficiently given the space also for clarity. We also ensure, so if it's the ointment, those small ointment bottles, we also have to leave some space for the contents inside to be seen. If it is a carton box, we use the longer side of the carton box that for labeling. So ensure the product is suitable and ready for safe dispensing to the patient. So some of the highlights that we have to ensure when we are dispensing is that when dispensing, the patient apply strategies that are going to encourage the patient to take the medication. And so this will improve compliance, adherence, whatever it is that we can call that. So if someone is going to take the medication, nobody wants to take the medication. It's not an ordinary food. So we have to ensure we encourage them by one, mentioning the name of the product. This is paracetamol I'm giving you. It is for oral use, or it's for applying on the skin, or it's for inserting the anus, it's for inserting the vagina, whatever it is. We ensure we mention that to the patient. Also, depending on the circumstances, if it is an issue of privacy and conditions that are related to stigma and things like that, then we can try and see how we do it. But we have to also mention the purpose of the medication. This is paracetamol for your fever. This is ibuprofen for your pain and things like that. Then indicate to the patient how they are going to use. You will be taking with water by mouth. You'll be applying on your skin, not muchinyanja mkazivala. Then someone starts wearing in the West, and the thing doesn't work. So you have to apply effective communication as well. And also highlight any auxiliary labels that may be necessary for that medication. Some medication cause drowsiness, so mention this may cause drowsiness, so do not operate machinery or take when you're at home, take when you're going to sleep, things like that. Do not take with food, do not take with dairy products, do not stop until you finish, things like that. Okay, that is very, very important. So what equipment are essential for the dispensing unit? For the compounding unit, you need devices or equipment for boiling water. You need water bath for controlled heating. You need dispensing balances or electronic equivalent of the same. You need a wide range of glassware. You need mortar and pestle. For mortar and pestle, you may need the ceramic as well as the glassware, because for the glassware, you can use color related products that may stain the ceramic ones. So you need alternatives. Then you also need beakers, you need conical measures and things like that. Some of the additional equipment that you may need are graduated cylinders, pipettes, droppers for those small measurements, large and small glassware, ceramic tiles for titirations and ointment handling, the range of spatula and glass stirring rods. Thermometers are crucial, suppository modes, counting trays and equipment. This is very, very important. Then you need suitable containers and for the products containment. And then you also need pharmacopoeia for information sourcing and formulae. And then you need labeling equipment. So the labeling equipment may not necessarily be electronic. It can be just stickers that you may need, self-sticking labeling equipment. So this is what we needed to discuss. Look forward to the next discussion. All the best. Bye-bye.